being aware of what your gifts are and deciding to put them into use, it's always God honoring in the first place. So being prayerful about how to use hospitality from our home, in our home, also teaches our children. It becomes intergenerational. So we made a commitment years ago to open our home, not just for immediate family, because that's comfortable. That's not always the stretch of hospitality. So we have always had unknown people in and strangers of family members. We moved to Holland about a year and a half ago during COVID, and we've been very familiar with Holland, but not lived here before. So we were not moving here with any set friendships or any set family in the area. So again, we thought, well, we're empty nesters, so we're not going to meet all these kids and parents on the soccer field or in the neighborhood as the kids are out playing like we did in their younger years. When we moved in, a neighbor came over and dropped off some beautiful flowers. And where we had moved from, people didn't just approach your home. It was always like by invitation. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do what she just did, and I'm just going to show up at her house. So I did, and I thanked her. Well, we got talking, knew that we would really like them, so we invited them for dinner the following weekend. I knew that they would want to see the house, and as we were kind of getting ready and planning dinner, I was straightening a blanket up in my bedroom, and it was my mother's, and it has her monogram on it. And it was the only time I've heard God audibly say to me, "Nancy knows your mother." And I was like, okay, God, noted. So we were sitting at dinner and we're chatting, and Nancy's husband looks at me and says, "Who are your parents?" And I looked at Nancy and I said, "God told me today that you already know my mom." And she just said, "Who are your parents?" And I told her, and she just started to weep. She said, "I loved your mother." And we had this moment. I said, "Well, you're eating off of her dishes and you're drinking out of her water goblets." It was such a sweet, sweet moment. It was so confirming, for God to say, it was a delight that she came down unannounced, dropped something off, and that I followed her lead. So it was just a perfect example going back to having courage in hospitality. I stepped out and did something I wouldn't have done, and I was so thoroughly rewarded. God was great. So when we've met people, we've just been bold, and we've invited them for dinner, and not once has anyone said no. So they've all come. We've had a terrific time. The other thing is, my husband always prays before a meal. So every single time, people join hands and they pray. And what we have found to be wonderful about that is we're praying over a meal. We're not praying for personal issues. No one's talking politics. It just, it doesn't get into the world of being dicey or too personal. So it's a great way to just be introduced to the fact that they were open to pray. They were willing to, they participated, which then also as a topic of conversation, we can always go there. If you don't feel like you have the gift of hospitality, you are always still called to be a good guest. So there is shared responsibility in whether you have it or you don't. And it's a place to show gratitude, and it is a place to learn, pick up some traits maybe from someone who does it often, and be brave and extend yourself and decide that you're going to try a new skill set and you're going to do something new or different, and then pray about and think about maybe the mom you've seen that you've never met that you thought, I could have her for coffee. Start small. It doesn't have to be a dinner party for 12. My name is Jane, and this is how God is moving in my life.
Thank you.